Motherfuck anxiety. That's right, I said it. You nasty mind bully that plagues so many of us and it stops us from fully enjoying life. So recently I got asked by a handful of friends and clients to make this video to show them these techniques that I've used with them in the past to help lessen anxiety or to even conquer it. These techniques are very simple but very powerful neuro-linguistic programming, neuroplasticity techniques that anyone could do. And it only takes a few minutes to do it. And the results are pretty instant. So basically, you see, when we start to get an anxiety attack or a panic attack, once we get it a few times, our brain creates this pathway. And every time we get that trigger, our brain wants to go through that whole path. And it wants to go through that full-on anxiety attack. But these techniques are going to act like roadblocks. Every time you start to feel that sensation come up, you do these techniques and it's going to put these roadblocks on that path so that your brain is forced to go a different way. Now, when I was 19 to early 20s, I used to suffer from panic attacks and anxiety attacks. And so much so that it actually kept me from going to college. And it forced me later in my 20s to actually start studying hypnotherapy and the mind very much in depth, so that I can understand how we can conquer this and how to, for myself at first, but then once I saw that it worked for me, I started using it and helping other people. So the first technique I want to share with you is the spin technique. So basically, once you start to feel that anxiety start to come up, what usually happens, it starts to grow, right? It starts to build. So it has this momentum that starts to grow. And I want you to do this with your hands. I want you to start spinning your hands forward. Just feel that sensation for a moment and then start spinning it backwards. Now, right away what you're doing, you're rewiring your brain. You see, because that little anxiety pathway, it wants to spin forward. It wants to spin the way that it knows. But once you start spinning it backwards, your brain starts to get confused. And you start to break up that pattern, that habit pattern. Now, what I want you to do while you're spinning it backwards, I want you to give me a big laugh. I don't care if it's a fake laugh, I just want you to laugh right now. Just big laugh. Take a deep inhale. Place your hands over your heart. Exhale. Now, do that as many times as you need to. And if you're in public and you feel a little bit timid about doing that and laughing out loud, just give a small little gesture with your fingers. Bring it back, reverse it, and just either give a big smile or just a quiet laugh to yourself. And that's one way that you can stop anxiety to launching into a full-on panic attack, because you're going to start the habit. As soon as it starts, you're going to put up that roadblock in your mind and your brain is going to go a different direction. So that's technique number one. Technique number two that I want to share with you, it's a fancy name, bilateral stimulation, but really you take any object, a phone, keys, a pen, and as soon as you start to feel that onset of anxiety, I want you to start taking that object from hand to hand, switching it back and forth, taking nice, long, deep inhales as you do that. And I want you to do this for about a minute. Now you see, anxiety can only reside on one side of our brain. So it's up here. And as soon as you start to do this back and forth, you're forcing your brain to go back and forth from hemisphere, left to right, left to right. So what starts to happen is that your mind and your brain can't hold on to that focus of anxiety. And then anxiety starts to dissipate, the anxious feeling. So long, deep breathing. Keep doing this a few times, at least for a minute. So give those two techniques a try. Please let me know how it went. Let me know what effects it had on you. I don't want any money from you. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I just want to help you out. You know, a lot of us are plagued by anxiety when we don't have to be. We're given drugs, we're given all this other bullshit. Psychiatrists tell us that you're doomed. You have this condition and that's it, which is not true. For me, myself, I went from having anxiety level of 9, 10 to now, the highest it ever gets is like a 2. And as soon as I start to feel anxious, I start to feel that kind of like a little panic attack starting to creep up on me, I do one of the many techniques that I know and it goes away. So I know that if it works for me and it's worked for my clients and friends, that it could definitely work for you. So please give these a try. And once again, shoot me a message. Let me know what you felt, what you experienced. All right. Much love to everyone.